Hey JFK Commanders. Today, during our Teal Week kickoff session, we went over our JFK common expectations for our Schoology courses. We talked about 5 kind of key components that we want to adhere to as we're building out all of our Schoology courses. But I wanted to create a second screencast that goes much more slowly and follows the click paths that you might need to create each of these items. So feel free if you want to set it up so that you can pause as you're working along with me. And again, if you guys ever have any questions, feel free just to reach out. However, there are 5 things that we are really going to focus on. The first are setting up our Google Meet links. That needs to be posted to the top of our Schoology course. So it's the first thing that students see every time they log in. The second is that our class syllabus needs to live underneath that Google Meet link, right? That's where we're going to house all of the really important expectations that we have for our course. The third is that any other items that we're including in our course, we want to nest in folders that are just listed chronologically. So items that are going to be the most recent at the top, and then of course least recent at the bottom. That way, as you're adding new materials, those just keep populating at the top, and it's a little bit easier for students to find what they're looking for. The fourth expectation is that anything we upload that we intend to grade must have a due date attached to it. And then the last is that we're going to utilize the calendar to upload all of our class meeting dates to help clarify for students when they're seeing certain classes. The schedule is really new for all of us. Obviously, block schedule is something different, but to now go to periods 1 through 4 and then still follow our blue-green, our students might need a little bit of support here at the start, just so that they understand where they should be and when as they're logging into their classes. So we're going to jump back a couple of slides, and then we will go through all of these pieces together. The first thing that we're going to look at are our Google Meet links. So the thought process behind creating one common link is that it's going to be a lot more straightforward for ourselves and for our students as we're trying to direct kids to the right place. So what I mean by that is if we were to create a different class meet every single day for different courses, eventually students are going to have the wrong link. Heck, we may even find out that we have the wrong link at a certain point in time. So making sure that we only have one Meet link is a really clear way to ensure that our students aren't going to get lost trying to find our class. And if a student logs in at the wrong time, we're going to follow the same protocol as we would if they walked into our class at the same time, right? We greet them, we tell them that it's nice to see them, and then we kindly and gently remind them that they're in the wrong place and that they need to go somewhere else. The nice part about Google Meet is that we can kick a student out, right? We can exit that student if they are in the wrong place. So to do this, you do need to access Google Calendar. So Google Calendar is where we schedule things out in the future. So I'm going to open up a new tab here. I'm going to go to my calendar.google.com. And from there, I'm going to create. I'm just creating an event on my calendar. And I'm actually going to click More Options. And from here, this is my class meeting link, the one that I'm going to use all semester for my course. Now, classes are going to start on the 24th. We're really not going to start any earlier than 8 a.m. That'll be our first start time. And then the end of our instructional day is around 2:20 p.m. So I'm going to click that. And it does repeat. In fact, it repeats every Monday through Friday, but I do want an end date. So I need to click Custom. And it's going to repeat on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays because we are rotating our block. We don't have commander days, which means that one week I might have my blue day on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the following week my blue day is on Tuesday and Thursday, right? A true rotation. So I'm going to select that this is showing all week, and I want it to end on December the 18th, which is our last day. I'm going to click Done. And then I'm going to click for to add a Google Meet, and I'll see my link here, and I'm going to save this. So then when I click on the week of the 24th, I see that I've got my class meeting that's happening during this time all the way over the course of the entire week. To get that link, I'm just going to copy here, And I'm going to go back to my Schoology page. I'm going to add a material, which is a link. I'm going to add that link here. And then I'm going to put class meet link. Easy. And the link goes there. I do want to click for it to display in a new window. That's a little bit easier for students so that they're not having to see their Google Meet right inside that page. And then I'm going to add it here. Now, it's going to load to the bottom just by default. I'm just going to drag it up to the top, and that's going to be the first thing that lives on my page. So that checks off my first box. That's going to be my class meet link. Once I do that for each of my classes, then I'm good to go. The benefit of this is also for those of you that are choosing to link your courses, like some of you chose to do in spring, where I tie common classes together. Let's say the only prep I'm teaching in fall is biology. Well, then in that case, once I combine those links and my meet link stays the same, I don't have to worry about articulating this as a different meet link for different students. If you want help or support in linking your classes, please feel free to reach out to me and I can support you in doing that. So class meet link is first. The second thing that we want to add is our syllabus. So as we are working through our syllabus, jump to this next one, you can add whatever you'd like. The only expectations are that you provide a description of your course, what assessments you're going to be including in your course. Of course, we have to have a summative assessment at the end and one at the middle. So that's our minimum point. We want to have a midterm and a final assessment. Any other important due dates, maybe competitions that you expect students to participate in. We will upload our JFK grading policy once our Grading for Equity team has finished working through that process. And our JFK student handbook will also have a link as well for you to input into your syllabus. And then, of course, any other ways that you want students to contact you. Those would be the requirements for your syllabus. But again, anything else you want to add is completely up to you. The nice thing about doing this in a Google Doc is that it's a living document. So maybe as things change, especially if we do have to return back to in-person learning, it allows us to be able to edit the syllabus and still quickly get that information out to students. But we do need to make sure that when we go to share a link with students, or really anyone for that matter, that our Google documents are shared with everyone, especially for a class syllabus, because we want our parents to be able to see that too. When we go into our share settings on a Google document, our default typically is going to be private. So we want to click on that share link. And from there, we don't just want to use Denver Public Schools, right? Again, our parents don't have DPS email. So when they are viewing your course from their student portal, if they go to click on that link for your syllabus so that they can understand what your class expectations are, then there's a chance that they're not actually going to be able to see that. Oops, untitled document is a perfect name for it. Okay, so again, we will share. So when I go to click the link at the bottom, I'm going to click to change and click on Denver Public Schools, and that it's anyone with the link. And we do need to make sure that anyone with the link can view. We don't want students being able to change your syllabus. From there, you're going to copy the link, and following the exact same process as before, you go to Add Materials, Add File Link External Tool. We're adding a link here. And then my title is going to be my class syllabus. So I'm going to add that. And again, then drag that tool all the way up. And my class syllabus lives here. So that's my second piece. My third piece is that all of my folders just need to be in chronological order. So you'll see that same logic is followed on our JFK Professional Development course. We have our JFK Q&A. So that Padlet kind of serves as our primary meeting or syllabus reference point, right? Where we try to communicate any questions that you guys have, which is why it lives there all the way at the very top. Underneath that, since this is our first week engaging together, week of August 10th through the 14th, that's Teal Week, that lives at the very top. However, if you go to the very bottom, you'll see our 1920 resources where I've uploaded all of our materials from last year. Helpful to have, but not what you want at the very, very top right, because some of the information has changed a little bit. So folders in chronological order are the next key piece. All right. From there, we want to focus on the rest of our assignments. Anything that you add to the gradebook needs to be added as an assignment, test quiz, assessment, or discussion. You can use the other tools as just resources for students. It's a way for them to engage in the learning. But if it's actually going to be graded, it's an assignment, a test, an assessment, or discussion. We are not going to upload a direct link to a PDF and then require students to email us. We would create an assignment. We could upload that PDF perhaps to that assignment, and then students are still submitting there. But those are the 4 ways that a graded assignment links within our gradebook. We also need to make sure that we're adding a due date to each of these tools, assignments, quizzes, discussion boards, because once we add a date to something, then it shows up on the right-hand side of the screen. This does 2 things. 1, it allows you as the teacher to go to workload planning and view how many assignments your students have due at any given point in time. So for example, if I were to click and say, all right, Kirk has 5 assignments on Friday, but he's the only one. Oh, nope, I see Kirk and Shrika also have 5. I've got a few students in my class that have 5 assignments on Thursday. Maybe I want to move that assignment due date a day back or a day forward so that I'm not overloading my students with everything being due at one time. I can also click on the assignment to just see what is it. Oh, those are already 2 assignments that I assigned. So cool, I know that they're from me. Whereas if I click on something else, I can see, oh, this is from a different course, a different instructor. And it helps us be able to kind of subtly communicate with one another as to who has assigned what at any given point in time. So that works from the teacher's end. On the student's end, it allows them to see all upcoming assignments, both on their upcoming assignments tab as they are inside of your course. But when they go to the calendar feature, it will also add all of their assignments specifically to the calendar. Even better, when they log into their home page, it's also going to add that onto their home page in addition to all of the other due dates they have for all of their classes. Adding dates to our assignments is an absolute non-negotiable. That's probably the most important thing that we can do to help keep our students focused and on task. From our gradebook, if at whatever point you need to change a lot of dates at one time or you have an issue with not being able to add a due date, you can go to your gradebook feature. I can click my drop-down menu for a bulk edit, and I can change and edit all of my due dates all at one time. Bulk edit is a really, really helpful tool when I have a due date that might be grayed out or I can't change it, or I want to change a couple of things all at one time. So this is the fastest way for us to change some of those assignment settings all at once. The last thing that we are going to look at now is the course calendar. You have 2 options. You can do this every week. You can just add new events, or you can just get down and add them all to the calendar now from start of school all the way through the end of this fall semester. But when we add events to our course calendar, we want to make sure that we are letting students know when we are meeting with them. So that calendar that I showed you before will allow me to manually add an event and just say that we are engaging in period 1, which is IB language and literature. And I can even copy and paste my meet link or important resources here so that when I create that event, it lives on the calendar just like an assignment would. That way students can see at any given point in time, oh, I've checked a class off on my calendar, I want to view that calendar. They'll not only see when you're meeting, but also the assignments that they have due for their classes. So, to recap, these are going to be the 5 things we really want to focus on as we're building